What's up, everyone? Hey, Christina.
Hey, sorry, I was looking
We're
for that.
live.
Oh, I was
Welcome,
looking for
everyone.
the land acknowledgement.
You said what?
I was looking for the land acknowledgement.
Oh, I can do it today if you don't have it on
All right.
you. Welcome, everyone, to Clean Greens Living, broadcasting here live on Rainier Avenue Radio. I am your host, Queen Bri, and we have Christina, our other host, here live on Rainier Avenue Radio. And I said that already. What's going on? What's going on?
Happy Tuesday.
Huh?
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday again.
It's the first Tuesday of fall.
It is the first Tuesday of fall. I'm so excited. I am the type of person who loves to layer up. I love weather wings. It's sweater weather.
Yes.
Weather. I love sweater weather.
And boots.
And boots.
And
yes.
You got some boots.
I do, but I need some new ones. And all this silver everyone is wearing because of Beyonce's tour is making me want to get some silver boots.
Because you have gold, right?
I wanted to order. I did before order gold, but they didn't have my size. So then I had to exchange it for some red boots.
Oh, that's
so
right.
I don't have neither gold nor silver, which will be added to the wardrobe. So when y'all see me, mind your business. I just like dressing cute. Okay. Everybody's like, what are people gonna do with their Beyonce gear? For those of you who do not know, I did not go to the show, but my daughter hosted a Beyonce hour at the Starbucks down on First Avenue.
Oh,
So I gotta send you I'll show you guys the pictures next week. People are like, you didn't get video. I typically don't always record when I'm watching her because I am a fan of hers. And so sometimes I just want to sit in the moment and just hear her voice and I'm just in awe that kid came from me. But so I did record her.
She sang Beyonce songs. She was Beyonce.
She was Beyonce for an hour. She sang Beyonce songs for an hour. I got little snippets that I'll show you guys next week, and I'll try to post them to my social media as well. But she has this cute little hat, this cute little silver hat, and everybody's like, well, what is everybody going to do with their Beyonce leftovers? We're going to make it fashion, honey. We're going to wear it still, and we're going to make it cute. So she has this cute little hat that I want to pair some boots to.
Nice.
But yeah, she was Beyonce for an hour. I was like, wow, what? I was like, you're going places. And then one more one more proud mommy moment. So she went to this play and she went to Tina. She went to go see Tina. And she was casually looking through the program and she was in the program. How cool is that?
That is very cool.
Yeah.
She is going places.
She is going places. She was in the program because she did a More Music at the More with STG. And so they were promoting their up and coming More Music at the More, where they highlight local artists out of Washington. And they work with a producer, like the last producer she worked with was the one who helped produce Encanto. So he was amazing. He was like, she's it. She's got it. She's the next Beyonce. And I was like, woo. So yeah, so that's my mommy moment. That's my plug for my child. She can really sing. People think that I can sing. I cannot. I can sing background, but I cannot sing like my beautiful daughter. Maybe if my mom wasn't teaching me and giving me voice lessons, I could probably sing.
Did Samara take voice lessons?
No.
Okay.
No. Okay. The closest she came to voice lessons is when she was doing Teen Summer Musical. And Michelle Lang is amazing. Like, she pushes the kids. She sees it in them and she pushes them. And I love that. And so that helps Samara take her vocals range to a higher level. So Teen Summer Musical, if you guys are listening and your kids are talented, can sing, can act, can dance, put them in Teen Summer Musical. Teen Summer Musical is amazing. Like, It gives them confidence. It pushes them past what they think they can do. It just really, and it just shows them that what it shows them the avenues, the different avenues they can do. And then it just keeps them connected in the music and artistry industry. And people see them, people want to hear from them. So that's really what helped her like build her confidence and get her out there.
Okay.
Land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that we are on the traditional land of the first people of Seattle, the Coast Salish past and present, and we honor with gratitude the land itself and the Duwamish, Suquamish, Nisqually, Snoqualmie, and Muckleshoot tribes. We also want to acknowledge. Oh, she said back off. Oh, sorry. Let me focus on the land acknowledgement. We'll get to that in a minute, Janet. We also acknowledge what has happened on the land to impact the lives of our Black community due to redlining in the Seattle area. If you are a family that was infected by redlining or any other anti Black racism enacted by white politicians, business people that have robbed you or your family of passing down generational wealth through your housing, please connect with us at blackdollardays.taskforce.org and share your stories. They are now actively looking for people to share their stories of losing housing due to redlining. They are sharing stories not just to housing due to losing housing due to redlining, but losing your house due to family members who maybe were selling drugs or gang related and they got arrested. And then the police came in and confiscated your house and all your resources due to that. You have rights, you had rights, and we just want to hear your story and find ways that we can fix what was broken and what happened. So again, please visit us at www.blackdollardays.taskforce.org. Janet told us to back off Annette because I said Annette didn't give me voice lessons. She was too busy teasing me, telling me I couldn't sing instead of, strengthening my vocal cords. Anyways, and that is her favorite, and that is everybody's favorite. And the woman is just crazy, but we just love her. She keeps us laughing. She keeps us on our toes. We love her. I'll back off. She's a good mom, I guess.
Yes. You sound like
Um,
Kitty.
you sound, I
You
sound
sound
like
like Kitty, I guess.
Guess I'll give her some props since I'm always talking about her. She is helping me right now with homeschooling the children. And so teaching is not her first option, but she is amazing at teaching kids. I don't know what it is, but they pick up what she's saying and she does it in a way that you remember it.
Mm.
Like me and my cousin, since we were like 6, remember the first scripture she taught us, because like the first 2 scriptures she taught us, because she did it in hand movements
Mm.
and she'll do it through song and it just sticks.
Mhm.
So I
I
can
had
do
a
all
teacher like
things through Christ that strengthens me, and whatever you eat, drink, or whatever you do it all for the glory of God.
that. Amen.
Taught me that as a kid and it still sticks.
It's that.
Um, how are you, Christina?
I'm good. I was a little sad that summer went away, but it gave us a beautiful last day. It was like 80 degrees. And then we got this have you heard of this weather phenomenon that's going
Mm-mm,
on?
mm-mm.
The atmospheric river. That's the moisture system we have going through the West Coast right now.
Oh, we
So
need to come back and talk about that because what is the atmosphere river?
that's a new term. I had to look it up.
Okay,
Um,
we gonna come back and talk about the atmosphere river. Please look, Christina,
yeah,
write that down, text it to us so we can talk about this because I'm interested. I want to know what that
yeah,
is.
we should talk about uh climate in general.
Yeah.
Because of course we had to pay attention. Tommy and I had to pay attention and plan for what was going to come. So we got some starts in the ground before all that rain. So there you go. We got them watered in. So
Nice.
that's what farmers have to do. We had to readjust because we couldn't do some work because it was too rainy, and use the weather for what it was good for.
Nice.
So I'm good. I'm rolling right into fall and right into winter growing. So I'm expanding my farming knowledge, and I'm in a really, really grateful place right now.
Good. I love that you saying like you're in you're expanding your knowledge. We had some guests up at Amy Yee this morning, and I was like, I didn't know nothing about farming until I got here, and I am learning everything. I didn't even went and got me a farmer's almanac. So if you need to borrow it, I got one.
Oh,
But
okay.
that's what I love. Like I'm like you. I'm grateful. And for those of you who do not know, in Duval, this is starting to become the weather where we have to keep an eye on our produce and the river because our farm is next to the Snoqualmie River. And when it rains, the river rises and sometimes can flood out our produce. So we're fingers crossed that we have until Thanksgiving before it does anything. If it does anything, I hope it doesn't flood because a lot of families and houses are affected by the flooding that happens out in Duval. But I'm so excited to see what's to come. The garden looks good. I can't wait to plant more beds in there. Um, um, our guest is saying they can get hands on some camas bulbs and stuff that grows in wetlands. Nice, thank you. We would love to have that. So our season is coming towards an end. Oh my God, it's already October. It's already October. Our season's coming towards the end. Our youth farm, we did really good this year. We had um, 28 kids, no, 27 kids.
Oh,
27 kids. We had more than that signed up, but some families went on vacation and never came back. So altogether, I feel like we enrolled like 30 something kids. But right now, as we speak, we have 27. So this season went really well. I'm so excited about the growth of our farm.
mhm.
Honey will be coming to us soon. We got the labels, we got the jars. Now we just got to add the honey in the jars. So Christina, we're going to get together and we're going to make a plan. I'm just
They've
so
been
excited.
asking too
Yes, yeah. Oh my
online,
God, yes.
when are we gonna get honey?
Yes, well, the labels are here. All we got to do is go wash out the jars, dry them, stick them in there. Oh, honey, we said a whole lot about you. We'll talk about that later offline. Uh, so we're excited about the honey. The honey's to come. The bees are being treated for varroa mites. They
And
didn't have,
growing.
yeah, they didn't. They're growing. They didn't have it, but a lot of people treat them just in case, and so we treated ours just in case because 'tis the season for varroa mites, and we'll talk more about that a little later. Because today we have a show. We have a guest. We have a guest. I just wanted to check up. Oh, before we bring on our guest, I wanted to make sure that you guys save the date. Save the date because our annual fundraising harvest dinner is coming up November 18th. Put this in your calendar. November 18th is our harvest dinner. We would love to see you there. We would love your support. You don't have to wait for the harvest dinner to start supporting and donating now. Please go to cleangreens. Can't even talk. www.cleangreensfarmandfarmmarket.com, and you can also donate there and keep this movement going of providing fresh organic produce to our community, providing education to our children and our community, and just making community connections. We really appreciate everything everyone does for us and the support. The harvest dinner will be at Rainier Avenue Radio, the Columbia City Theater. This is so exciting. We appreciate everything that Rainier Avenue Radio has done for us. So the event will be at the Columbia City Theater on November 18th. So save those dates.
Very nice.
Uh, you excited? You looking forward to it?
Yeah, it was really fun last year,
Yeah.
and we've grown, and so I know it's gonna be even better. I love your glasses, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. I was supposed to say America's Best. Trying something different with the big frames. Um, so we have a guest, and we love our guest that loves to come back, loves to educate us, loves to show us what's happening in the community, in the world, things that we should be looking out for. And when we talk about climate change, we talk about everything that it affects and how things that we are doing contributes to climate change. And so we have Cedar Boucher. I hope I say Bouchu back on. I hope I said your last name right, Cedar. We have him back on, and we are going to. He's going to give us education around the Atlanta Forest Defenders. So everyone, welcome on. Please welcome on Cedar. Hey,
Hi,
Cedar.
I'm
Hi,
Cedar.
Cedar.
How's it going, Cedar?
It's going good. I've spent the last few days doing a touch up on the research of the Atlanta Forest Defenders and what's happening in Atlanta. I posted a link in the chat, and I'll post a few more articles for people to read, or I'll just share it actually right now. Truthout.org on Atlanta Defenders, as well as uh, Protect Atlanta Forests, I think, or Atlanta Forest Defender, something like that, where I wrote a letter that the Muscovy people wrote to the mayor about them coming back to move into their forest homelands, which is where the Atlanta forest is right now, and telling them to stop the Cop City stuff because uh, the cops in Hollywood, I think it's Skybox Studios, is trying to clear out I think, 90-acre forest, or it is a huge forest that they're trying to clear out. They're trying to pave and develop, and uh, as well as, of course, being right next to a community of Black and minority people, and using the place is basically a staging ground for anti-protest training, is that it would also do a lot of damage as far as trying to fight what's going on with climate change and global warming, and it would also be taking a lot of trees from a wetland, which would cause more flooding for the city of Atlanta. And I also, in a previous newsletter I wrote on the subject, talked about this guy Tortuguita. He was the protester that was murdered by police when they decided to conduct a raid on the forest. They also tore down tree houses people were living in, and arrested a lot of defenders. And they're also charging anybody who tries to protect the forest, I think at the moment, with domestic terrorism charges and felonies
What?
for doing so.
Mhm.
That's extreme. I did. So I heard that they wanted to build Cop City in Atlanta, and I heard that there was some pushback. But to charge people with terrorism is extreme. It's kind of crazy.
There's a story actually I'm posting it in the chat, but for readers who wanna look it up, on Democracy Now, there was Google Atlanta Cop City protester killed. It talks about all of the uh, all the people there that came out to support, who are being arrested with uh, on claims of domestic terrorism. And according to one article that I wrote, the guy was shot like 57 times by police. And of course,
Really?
police will say that they got fired on first, and they might have a point if there wasn't like tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of examples of articles of cops saying it, and then it turns out they were the ones who fired on people. So I don't really trust cops. I mean,
So people are losing their lives trying to defend the forest in Atlanta to stop Cop City, which
mhm.
is a place that they want to build to help better train cops on how to navigate protests. Did I
Well,
skip our
it's
training period?
for training on like anti-protest actions. So like how to better train in those kinds of methods to suppress protesters, and because the city of Atlanta is surprised. Well, I don't know if it's surprising, but they are against the formation of the city. Voters there are like 70% of not in favor of building the city, but the mayor's office and Brian Kemp, the governor of Atlanta, and all these other people are, of course,
I'm just gonna go.
pushing it
Hey guys, we
through.
can hear you guys in the background.
Someone just told me out.
Keep going. Hey, I'm Cedar. I'm here. Go ahead.
Okay. They're still pushing it through. The cops are, according to the Democracy Now! Website article, when they conducted the raid, they're using police dogs to chase protesters. They have also been using tear gas and all this other kind of stuff, which is not surprising because we have a former mayor in Seattle that during the BLM protests said that she wouldn't use tear gas, and then immediately after that used tear gas. We called her Tear Gas Jenny. A lot of people did in the city. As far as the deforestation, I'm just going to draw a quick relation to what's happening in Seattle. Of course, people know that a lot of trees are being taken down by developers in the city. Shoreline as well, but like South Park has 10% tree canopy. And if this goes through in Atlanta, they're going to have what we're having, which is a lot of heatscape and flooding and heat islands and a much hotter and humid city than it already is. And I also visited Deadwood, Oregon this year, where they clear cut this, they helicopter cut, which is they flew on helicopters and cut down a lot of the forest on the sides of the hills out in Deadwood, Oregon, and then sprayed the roots with Roundup and chemicals so they wouldn't grow back. But
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. What were you saying?
I was just going to go back to talking about the Atlanta stuff. Is that the protesters, I think if people want to help out, I mean, sending supplies, whether it be because they're trying to build stuff in the forest to keep the cops out, as I would too. But like sending the defenders supplies might be the best thing to do to help them if you can't get out there. People can't get out there themselves. I think sending support and like supplies so they can, because this is something that should not be happening, especially in light of all these talks on mitigating the worst effects of climate change and global warming and having more trees and all this other kind of stuff that we keep talking about.
What advice do you have for smaller developers who want to remove a couple trees at a time to build high density housing? This is from one of our show. I mean, this is from one of our staff who was watching the show, Ashiana.
What I would say to that, if people want to send me an email asking that question, I can better answer that in a longer amount of time. I'll even post my email in this chat too for people who are interested. But I actually enjoy writing on sustainable building and like how we can make our buildings more creative and not be so harmful, if at all, to the environment. There's actually this guy in Italy, this guy who helped build what they call the vertical forest in Italy. Italy is getting behind a lot more carbon neutral buildings and buildings that can supply their energy, reusable materials. They have a lot better process for doing that stuff there. They have a whole industry built around just recycling materials and building different buildings out of the materials that they broke down from the previous buildings. And because of that, they aren't really building a lot more new buildings. They're just rebuilding different buildings from the old materials that they have, because they're trying to cut down their waste. And it's also a cycle that if, say, a pandemic hit or a natural disaster hit, they wouldn't have to wait months or years for supplies. They could just break down old buildings that are in disrepair, no longer being used, and just you reuse those same materials. And the Milan or the vertical Boscao in Milan is like the world's most innovative skyscraper. They have like a vertical forest they have like a forest growing around the outside of the building. They have gardens and plants inside, and then they also have like gardens on the on decks on the outside. So it basically looks like a giant forest that has a building on the inside, and it is very climate friendly, and it's not uh like development like that is friendly because you're not like trying to cut down, like, a lot of the trees that are being cut down in Seattle are honestly ones that are on the edges of the property that I think, in my view anyways, it seems like developers are going out of their way to cut down the trees. Like they're not, they could just build in the middle of the um property and leave the trees there, and I mean that would be better. And yeah.
So I remember real quick before we get out of here.
Mhm.
I remember last time we talked about it, and I just have a question for you. One last question before we go. Um, the developers don't have to cut them down. So if I'm getting it, they don't have to cut them down. They're just choosing to cut them down. And so maybe I guess the question was like, what advice would you would give them? And the thing is that if they don't have to cut it down, how do we navigate having that conversation about their choices? Because the last time we had the show, we talked about they cut them down, and yes, they replaced them with smaller trees, but it takes those trees to grow. It takes those trees a while to grow to
Yes, it
even
does.
give us the air we need. So do you want to answer like what would you say to them, but keep it real quick because we have to go in like 1
Oh
minute.
yeah. Well, if they're willing to be open to suggestions and not be like all like profit, 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 and actually listen and get a little bit less profit, but also be a lot more sustainable, is that you leave the trees in place. You can you could hire on like arborist consultants or people that work in field trees that have like a here's how you would build around these trees. You would still build stuff, hopefully using sustainable materials like in Italy. But regardless, you would build around the trees instead of taking the trees out. Because if you take more trees out, you're going to upset a lot more people, which is leading to like protests in Seattle because we like our trees here. We're known as the Emerald City. So,
Thank you. Thank you, Cedar. Thank you for always coming on to educate us. We appreciate that. You guys keep a watch out for what is happening in your city and around the world and find ways to give back because climate is real and we can play our part. And one of the ways that we're playing a bad part in it is standing by and watching as they tear down all of our trees. That helps our world and helps our oxygen. Up next is Phil AM Radio.